Good morning, guys. Clash of the suburbs. Today we're going to be talking about Northern Beaches suburbs. Who's outperforming who? Stay tuned. Good morning, Billy.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm really good. Yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. I feel like we were here not too long ago.
It feels like we've been here a lot.
I know. Guys, today we're going to be talking about Clash of the Suburbs, specifically Northern Beaches, obviously being our core market area. And for all you Northern Beaches locals out there, we're going to be going through a few case studies today, which I think will sort of spark some people's interest in terms of the past 10 years, which is the data that we have access to. How much have Northern Beaches suburbs gone up and which suburbs have done better than others?
Yeah, so we pulled up some data for houses and units. We're going to make some comparisons, battle of the suburbs for sort of 3 or 4 different ones here, and break down some of the numbers, I guess you could say.
Pretty much. So guys, anyone that's watching as well this morning, please feel free to pop in your comments as well in terms of which suburbs you think have outperformed which. And what we're going to do is do some case studies. So some suburbs that sit side by side that traditionally as a buyer, whether you're an investor or owner-occupier, you go, well, which suburb do I want to buy in? Which suburb is more going to outperform the other suburb for me? And first of all, we're going to start with DY versus Freshwater. Which I think is quite a hotly debated one anyway, in terms of people going, well, should I buy in DY, should I buy in Freshwater? DY's got great amenities in terms of access to the B-line bus stop. Freshwater traditionally has always been a little bit more expensive, obviously close to the beach as well.
Yeah.
What do you think, Billy?
I think as an investment, realistically, you can't go wrong either way. There's certainly different. I think we did an episode really recently on really nailed down on why you're buying an apartment, not so much for the apartment itself, but for the purpose you're looking to use it for. And I think this can be applied again back to here. So obviously your purchase price is going to be marginally different. But let's have a look at what the capital growth says.
So guys, we're going to do both houses and units. So I'm going to start with houses in both suburbs first. So over the past 10 years, DY houses have gone up 136.8%. So in the past 10 years, they've doubled and some.
Yes.
So it's quite strong capital growth. Freshwater houses have gone up, drum roll, 153.7%.
There you go.
So guys, freshwater houses have performed over the past 10 years. They've grown an additional 20%. More than DY houses. So
it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, interesting to see that. I think if I was to take a guess why the top end houses in Freshwater, there have been some more recent sort of at the real top end of the market in sort of saying that's that $6 million plus mark, being quite a few sales in Freshwater.
Yeah. And
if I was to take one major factor, I think that would be the driver for that. Both suburbs have performed incredibly strongly. But yeah, interesting to see. Next one is DY units. DY units over the past 10 years have gone up 81.6%. Interesting to see the comparison there in terms of the capital growth from houses to units. Units have performed 50% less over the past 10 years. And then freshwater units have gone up 90.1%.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, so pretty much for you guys that aren't numbers people out there, straight away the trend we're seeing here is houses in both suburbs have strongly outperformed units in terms of capital growth. However, obviously owning a home, there's always going to be a bit more of a holding cost associated with that in terms of mortgage repayments. But guys, freshwater units have also outperformed DY units as well. So freshwater takes the cake on that one.
Would you say that comes down to stock levels in each suburb?
Potentially. The age-old thing I always hear is people say, oh, there's a lot more units in DY than there are in freshwater. There's been more units built in DY. There haven't been as many new units built in freshwater.
Yeah.
But bear in mind as well, over the course of a 10-year period, a difference of 10%, when you're grouping it like to like, that's pretty similar.
Mm.
Like if it was 10% over 1 year, you go, wow, that's a drastic difference. Over 10 years, you're talking about an additional growth of 1% per year. So really, when you sort of break it down backwards like that, they're much to muchness to me, which is great to see in terms of both suburbs performing strongly.
There you go.
So guys, that's our first case study. Next one is BROOKVALE versus Manly Vale. So two slightly more inland suburbs, but I think once again, hotly contested between the two. BROOKVALE homes over the past 10 years have gone up 121 freshwater units. That's true, Luke, as well. So BROOKVALE units have gone up 121.7% over the past 10 years. Manly Vale houses have gone up 137.5% over the past 10 years.
So yeah, okay.
Similar once again.
It's similar.
So in this one here, Manly Vale takes the cake. Why do you think that is, Billy?
Manly Vale over Brookie. I think, Brookie's partly divided, right? So you've got, when you compare suburb to suburb, there's no real place like Brookie on the beaches that has quite as much.
It's unique, yeah.
Sort of industrial as residential. It's got a very, very high sort of, would you say 50-50 split?
Yeah, well, there's quite a few. It's slowly transitioning now with the additional residential development, but BROOKVALE's always predominantly been a commercial area. And so maybe for residential properties there, don't sleep on BROOKVALE. I personally think that even though suburbs like Manly Vale have outperformed BROOKVALE historically, I personally think BROOKVALE's about to make a run. That's just my opinion. In terms of all the new development, the master plan that's going in there as well.
Yeah.
Like they always say, in, I think those super ads, past performance is not indicator of 100% what's going to happen in future performance. And this could be the situation here.
That's true. So there is some really exciting news coming to BROOKVALE. If you want some more info, we've got some info already put together on that. We can shoot it over to you.
Yeah.
Put a message in here.
That's it. And guys, next one is, so BROOKVALE units have gone up 75.2% over the past 10 years. And then we got Manly Vale units 77.0%.
So we're talking literally nothing.
Yeah. Literally nothing. If you bought a unit in either of those suburbs, you have literally performed identically, which is interesting to see as well. Funnily enough, jumping backwards to the other two suburbs, Freshwater and DY, not as much as either of those two suburbs. Once again, we're not saying that one's necessarily better than the other, but these are just the cold, hard facts that we're reporting, and it's interesting to see.
That's it. That's you done.
All right. One more case study, guys.
Alrighty. So now we're going to a little bit further north. We're going to go to Collaroy versus NARRAWEENA. Collaroy, over 10 years, units, 91.2%.
Okay, so that's very similar to Freshwater.
It is.
Yeah.
Purchase price, do you think it would have been similar back in the day?
Similar-ish, yeah, I'd say so. They're more probably to likeness suburbs, even though they're a little bit further apart.
Especially right down the beach end.
Correct.
NARRAWEENA units, 89.4%, which is
splitting hairs again.
Yeah.
So guys, if you're thinking between NARRAWEENA and Collaroy, I know buyers that are looking at both of them, and sometimes people have preference between suburbs for different reasons. The data's there, guys. They've really performed identically over the past 10 years. What about for houses?
For houses, NARRAWEENA 116.7%, Collaroy 123.1%. So relatively similar as well.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see actually, because Collaroy houses, obviously you've got the base and you've got some really lovely areas there. NARRAWEENA, obviously all the ones running along the beachfront with those amazing views. Both suburbs have incredible homes, and yeah, like we said before, if you're talking about 6% difference over 10 years, it breaks down to really not much at all.
Yeah.
Which I think is quite a nice thing to see in terms of, you don't want to see one suburb drastically outperform another suburb on the beaches and you go, oh, I should have bought in that suburb 10 years ago. And we are starting to see some consistencies here as well. I don't know if you guys have picked up, but what I noticed straight away from all those numbers is houses, capital growth, strongly outperforming units. That doesn't necessarily mean houses are better or a worse purchase. There's so much more beneath the iceberg with that. But purely on capital growth, there's been a lot more movement there. And guys, take into account as well, all these numbers we've got, these are a rolling average, total amount over the 10 years. So this is taking into account the recent market drops as well. So even though the market's come down for a lot of markets across Northern Beaches, 10, 20 something percent, we're still up over that rolling 10-year average by a lot.
Yeah, we're nearly double.
Yeah, double and a bit for most houses as well. So
Yeah. And I think another big takeaway for this one is wherever you're looking on the beaches, there's no suburb drastically underperforming. Yes, you've got suburbs that are slightly, above maybe where the median sits, but there's nothing sort of lacking behind drastically. So if you're choosing, the beaches for an investment, I think worry more about the property. Than the location.
I agree in terms of suburb to suburb, but not so much worry about the individual property. And people are going to have their ideas of what they like better as well. By what you know, people already know certain suburbs and they understand it. So stick with the ones that you understand. And then guys, any other suburbs, if you liked what we did today, let us know, because we're happy to do another one for some other suburbs. And even if you guys pop it into the comments or send us a message later on for another day, we're happy to run through the numbers in some other suburbs as well. We are aware that some of this data that we have access to is not public knowledge out there. The only way people can know it is sort of through the news or through real estate agents like us. So we're more than happy to share some of that data with you guys as well, and hopefully help you with that property purchase.
Yeah, that's it. Even regional, up the coast, down the coast, wherever you're looking. If you're looking and you want a suburb report to buy, and your current agent has already given you one, we can do that for you.
That's it. Perfect, guys. Hope this has been a bit informative this morning. Thank you, Billy.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, guys.